Hey Rev City family, can you remember a time that you've been in a more boring class while in school, or listening to a presentation that was not engaging and have caught yourself falling asleep? I know I have. And oftentimes we don't even know we've fallen asleep until someone comes and wakes us up. Now, why do I bring this up? Because we find an interesting passage of scripture that is about a random young man named Eutychus that had fallen asleep during a sermon from the Apostle Paul, and then fell out a window. On the first day of the week, we came together to break bread. Paul spoke to the people, and because he intended to leave the next day, kept talking until midnight. Seated in a window was a young man named Eutychus, who was sinking into a deep sleep, as Paul talked on and on. When he was sound asleep, he fell to the ground from the third story and was picked up dead. Paul went down, threw himself on the young man, and put his arms around him. "Don't be alarmed," he said, "he's alive." I think for some of us, there may be open windows in our lives of things or people that are leading us to temptation. The open window is a representation of sin, and sitting in an open window sill is like playing with temptation to see how close you can get before it's actually sin. For example, you may be saying, what is lying really? What is cheating really? The same way you fight in the natural to stay awake is the same war being fought between your flesh and spirit. That is why it's a horrible thing to be fighting sleep in an open window sill. It's a horrible thing to fight sin when you may be falling asleep spiritually and becoming numb by the desires of the flesh. We live in a culture that wants you to sleep, and the enemy wants you to sleep, but the Bible encourages us to keep fighting to stay awake. You are the children of the light and children of the day. We do not belong to the night nor the darkness. So let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be awake and sober. You don't know when you fall asleep naturally, so why would it not be the same spiritually? That you don't know you are falling asleep until someone wakes you up. We have someone who came to wake us up from our spiritual slumber as mankind, and his name is Jesus, who is the light of the world, and in him there is no darkness. Today I want to give you some signs that you may be getting spiritually sleepy. Little to no desire to pray, losing your appetite for the word, no longer convicted of willful sin, desire to be served rather than serving others, easily offended, avoiding accountability, or consistently comparing yourself to other people. Lastly, isolated yourself from a community of believers. And this is the last thing I'll point out from this text. Eutychus wasn't isolated from a community of believers, yet no one came to him and told him that sitting in an open window sill is a dangerous place to sit. I wonder if the people in this upper room even noticed he fell out the window. But thank God for the Apostle Paul for showing us what ministry really is. It is not judging others for falling or choosing to sit in an open window, but rather it is what Paul did in verse 10 by embracing Eutychus and throwing his arms around him, declaring there's still life in him. God is still in the business of bringing dead things back to life. While you think you may be too far gone to be woken up, God will come into your life, your situation right now, and awaken you from a slumber so that you can begin to walk in the light.